the day that we start the ICW. We are currently at mile marker 0. The buoy is like right there. And we are headed to the Dismal Swamp today. We've heard that it's not so dismal.
No, because dismal is the word for swamp.
Yes, so really it's swamp.
Or swampy swamp.
Swamp is swamp. Swamp. So
we're going to go through the first lock and then spend the night at the Elizabeth docks. Not the Elizabeth City docks, but the Elizabeth docks.
There's been some struggle with this particular concept.
They're both named Elizabeth.
Yes. But anyway, so we're going to stop at Elizabeth's dock right after the lock to get into the Swamp Canal. And then we're going to take Aiden for a hike because he deserves it. He has been a champ the last few days between being cooped up on the boat with some rain and then 140 miles in 34 hours. And then the last couple days, the wind's been really bad. So we haven't really been able to leave the boat. Other than for like quick pee breaks. So he deserves some leg stretching, and we deserve some leg stretching.
Yes.
So we're gonna go do that.
There's at the hardware store.
Yeah, and we need a few groceries. So both of those things we can get at this stop. We have 10.7 statute miles. So we're switching from nautical miles to statute miles, which is like a normal mile that you do in your car, for the next 987 of them, something like that. I think it's 987 before we turn for the Okeechobee, which is crazy that we have that far to go.
What's it? 5,280 feet versus 6,000 feet for a nautical mile.
Yeah. So we're switching to statute miles in the way we talk. So when we say a mile, we mean a statute mile. And we have 10.7 of those to do today. One bridge, and we got to get some fuel and some water because we don't have a good stop again for almost 100 miles. So we're gonna go deal with all the commercial traffic that is Norfolk/Portsmouth, Virginia right now. Are in Deep Creek, which is in Chesapeake, Virginia. We went through the Deep Creek Lock today. We only went 10.7 miles, but it was a nice leisurely 10.7. We got held up by a bridge in Norfolk.
So we missed
the 11 o'clock opening, which is kind of too bad because I think that we would have probably kept moving further than we did today if that was the case. Because there's a couple little stops along the way. We're only going to hit one of them this time around. And then we anchored just before the lock and had a nice little lunch and just hung out and chatted with the lockmaster on VHF for a few minutes about fish. And then did a pretty easy lock through. The lock itself is pretty straightforward. Lockmaster helps you with the lines. We were about halfway to 2/3 of the way to the back coming through, and it was really, really, really easy for an ascending. I think it would have been a little bit harder if we were farther up. It was a lot more turbulent towards the front. I think it fills from the front instead of fills from the bottom.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It filled from like the gate, the door. Yeah.
Like I think the gates are in the front door or the creek side door. So yeah, we are the only ones here tonight, which is kind of surprising, but it is pretty late in the season. It's November 15th. 16th, November 16th. Jeez, it's November 16th, but we are the only ones here. But on the bright side, there is like no duckweed in the canal, which is something that's pretty typical here and can be really problematic. It's something that can like suck into your engine and your freshwater intake and just like overheat your engine, which is not good. There's very, very little of it compared to what they sometimes can have. From what I've heard, it can be like 4 inches thick, like all the way across, and we're just seeing like tiny little patches of it. We took Aiden for a really long walk because he so deserved it. He's been too cooped up for the last few days because of wind and rain and a whole bunch of other things. So we had a nice little walk in the park here. So apparently the water looks really, really gross. Like it's like black. But apparently it was like really sought after, like before there were like water makers and water purifiers and stuff like that for ships, because it didn't go bad. Like it didn't grow algae like normal water would, like normal freshwater does. So they could put it in barrels for like months and it would still be fine.
So should we fill our tanks with this?
I'm gonna go no.
You sure?
Yeah, especially since it's like already staining the toilet. And we've only used the toilet twice. I'm gonna go with no. We don't want to get that into the tanks, never to return again. We go through water way more than like every couple months. And then we did a little reprovisioning so that I can work on tuning in my Omnia oven kind of settings. I bought some like cake mix just to kind of see if
brownies.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got brownies. Andy keeps calling it cake mix. So I got some brownies. So I'm gonna try to make those to get a kind of better feel for temperatures and cook times and that kind of stuff with it. But so far, like super good. So we did that today, and we just picked up a few other kind of perishable things: eggs, bread. I think that was about it. One more thing. Chesapeake, Virginia, not a pedestrian-friendly place. There are no sidewalks and no crosswalks. So
it's kind of sketch.
We thought it was gonna be like a super easy, like it wasn't even it's like a half-mile walk maybe.
If that.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all to the grocery store, and it turned into a little bit of like life-harrowing road crossing through like rush hour traffic. We took the dog with us. That was not a great idea, but we survived. So tomorrow we'll keep going on the Dismal Swamp. The Deep Creek Bridge opens to correspond with lock openings, so we notified the lock attendant that we would like a bridge opening with the 8:30 lock opening. No one was locking through, so he just opened the bridge for us.
We are going down the first part of the Dismal Swamp, which so far is not so dismal.
No, it's pretty cool.
Pretty nice. Got logs gotta go around, sticks, some duckies.
We're only going like 16 miles today. What's my sticky note say?
17.8 miles.
17.8 miles today. So it would take us like 3 hours if we were gonna go like our normal speed. But we're taking a slow jungle cruise today, so it'll take us longer. It's a little chilly today. We woke up to like 41 degrees, I think. Tonight's supposed to be in like the low 30s. We knew that was what we were getting into and leaving later, but it doesn't make it that much easier. We're clearly pretty bundled up. We thought we would get drone footage of the canal and swamp, but our drone had other plans. He threw a critical battery error 2 minutes after takeoff and then plummeted into the canal. At least we'll be able to laugh about it and like have a story. It's like the time that I dropped Andy's phone. Nope, farther down. It's like the time I dropped Andy's phone at Stonehenge. Like, we have a story. We lost our phone in we lost our drone in the Dismal Swamp. Here is just a taste of the low-res footage Sparky sent back before his watery death.
crossing into North Carolina, our 7th state. That's the strainer from one day in running the Dismal Swamp. Fleece pants. I have a thermal shirt, undershirt. I have a long sleeve shirt. I have this puffy jacket. I have a hat. I have a deck mark and gloves. How are you doing? It's only like 37 degrees. Oh, I got wool socks on.
Was the Dismal Swamp dismal?
Dismal in the dismal sense of the word? No. In the swampy sense of the word, it was swampy.
The weather's been pretty dismal.
The weather has been dismal in the dismal sense of the word.
The cold has been dismal.
Yeah, the current against the last bridge and lock makes it a little tricky. So I would like time it so you show up exactly at 8:30.
Yeah, like 5 minutes beforehand.
Yeah, we show up like a half hour, so we'd like turn around and anchor and stuff, and that was pretty tricky.
Yeah. And then turn around again. Yeah. Andy had some like sexy beast moves and managed to spin it twice, which was pretty cool. Especially since this thing turns like a battleship.
Yep. Watch in front of you and for trees like overhead.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't like snag any of the branches and stuff because they stick out.
Yeah, I'd say from like mile like 20 to maybe like 26.
What did my parents say? They tapped the branch going and passing somebody, and a snake dropped onto the boat. So
Yes!
just keep that in mind.
I think you probably
I
would have
like jumped overboard. It's like, nope.
Snakes are like the only thing you're really afraid of.
Yeah. I guess the third part of it, once you get through the second lock and you're back down at sea-ish level.
Yeah.
And the sound, that's beautiful. It's like the most beautiful spot.
Yeah, I think it's like I'm gonna butcher the river, but the river part between South Mills and Elizabeth City was absolutely gorgeous.
So if you had like a shortage of time, I would like put the pedal to metal, get through the ditch part of the swamp, and take your time in the last part if you had not a whole lot of time.
We saw a lot more wildlife there. We saw bald eagle and some river otters and another bald eagle.
And like the twists and turns, that was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really cool. That was probably my favorite part so far.
Yeah.
Next week, we're going to talk about all the things that we wish we knew about the Intracoastal Waterway before we left on this trip.